Part 83. Invincible Scratch Lottery System. Author, Xiankong Fashi. Chapter 823. Qin Feng held the immortal slaying sword and broke through the void. Under the blessing of the Nine Forbidden Sword, the Tai's Hang Heaven slaying sword was as powerful as ever. Near the exit, some Dachan kings were surprised. Few people could match the other party's attitude. Clang. Qin Feng kept waving the immortal slaying sword in his hand, slashing at the arm transformed from the Shenmue Demon King. The strikes again and again were like cutting on the immortal gold, endless sparks flowed out, and the king's runes intertwined and splashed. Base. At this moment, the branches and leaves of the divine tree Demon King turned into fairy swords, with strands of divine inscriptions flowing on them like stars. As the Shenmue Demon King slashed forward, the fairy sword turned into branches and leaves collided with Qin Feng's fairy killing sword. The sword energy between the two collided violently, causing a big wave. Bang! The Shenmue Demon King glowed, its body vibrated, making the secret space tremble, and the fairy swords turned into branches and leaves were arranged together to kill Qin Feng. These sword lights were indestructible, the void was broken open, and a terrifying black hole flowed out, shaking the monks on the first level and feeling fear. Qin Feng was naturally unafraid, and moved forward with the Jinxian's inferior immortal slaying sword. With the blessing of Jijin, he wielded the supreme heaven slaying sword, and its power reached its peak. The light collided between them, and the fairy weapon turned into dozens of branches by the Shenmue Demon King was chopped into pieces in the void by Qin Feng. However, those shattered immortal weapons turned into branches in the void, and then surged crazily, like demonic dragons, entwining towards Qin Feng, with incomparable power. This method is really scary. This person is too young after all. If he is entangled, he will probably die. In the distance, some Dachan kings discussed that even when they were fighting the Shenmue Demon King, they suffered a secret loss because they failed to understand the opponent's moves. The branches of the divine tree Demon King are dancing in the void. This branch is extremely terrifying. At this time, with the blessing of runes, its power is extremely powerful. Qin Feng was naturally unafraid. He swung the immortal sword to break through these branches. At this moment, these paper strips changed from hard to soft and full of toughness. Qin Feng's blow failed to break it, and the rune at this time hit Qin Feng's body, crushing his body and sucking out his blood. Humph, what a small trick! Qin Feng snorted coldly. The other party actually wanted to devour his blood. This was because he didn't take him seriously and thought that he would be completely eaten. Miscellaneous. Since the immortal killing sword didn't work, Qin Feng naturally had other methods. His body shook, and one phoenix god shape after another surged out of his body. This phoenix god form is also extremely terrifying. At this moment, the ultimate intention is flowing in the void. The extremely bright fire light turns Qin Feng into a fire god. Those phoenix divine forms were flying and dancing here. The roots, branches, and leaves of the sacred tree Demon King could not withstand the flames of the phoenix divine form. The king's runes on them were obliterated and turned into ashes. This scene shook the body of the Shenmue Demon King. Many of its branches and leaves were burned away by Qin Feng, causing his soul to feel severe pain. Court death. The Shenmue Demon King roared loudly. The branches were transformed by its qi, blood, and essence. If the young man in front of him burned them, he was destroying its qi, blood, and Taoism, which it could not accept. This terrifying scene forced the Shenmue Demon King to retreat. Its body shook violently, and the king's runes burst out, blocking Qin Feng's phoenix divine flame. But it also didn't dare to use its branches to wrap around Qin Feng. This method of wrapping branches, which had always been unfavorable in the past, was completely useless for Qin Feng. At this moment, Qin Feng's body was filled with divine fire, and under the blessing of the Nine Forbiddens, he was as dazzling as the scorching sun. His combat effectiveness doubled and his power doubled, but this Shenmue Demon King was extremely difficult to deal with. As the overlord of the second level of this secret realm, it is impossible to destroy the opponent in a short time. Boy, you pissed me off so much. The Shenmue Demon King roared loudly, and its whole body glowed brightly, and it distanced itself from Qin Feng. Today, it was besieged by countless Dachshund Kings, causing its body to be severely injured and its combat effectiveness to be greatly reduced. But now, even a monk from the realm of princes dares to humiliate it, which it cannot accept. As its voice fell, one king rune after another surged out from the body of the Shenmue Demon King. These king runes formed a large formation in the void, sealing this space. They wanted to seal Qin Feng here and slowly refine it. This Shenmue Demon King's formation skills are so superb. This level of formation technique is probably comparable to the King of Formations. In the distance, some Dachshund Kings had already eaten. When the Shenmue Demon King fought with them just now, he did not use the formation at all. Otherwise, some of these great gods and kings might die here. Such a scene would shock them all. It's just a formation, what can you do to me? Qin Feng remained calm. He moved to avoid the sword light coming from the formation. Immediately, he got rid of the formation and appeared in the distant sky as if he was strolling in the courtyard. Such a scene made the Shenmue Demon King in a daze. Originally, if it had attacked Qin Feng directly, Qin Feng would not have been able to escape so easily. However, when the Shenmue Demon King did this, it gave Qin Feng a chance to leave, because when the formation enveloped Qin Feng and locked the space, the Shenmue Demon King thought that the matter was settled. Because, the way of formation can only be truly mastered after dozens or hundreds of years of immersion, it does not think that the attainments of the masses will exceed it. Little did it know that Qin Feng's attainments in formation were even more terrifying than it, and it was also because he had the blessing of the system. In just a moment, he saw through the life gate of the formation, stepped on the thunder step, and got rid of the siege of the formation in a blink of an eye. Such a scene made the Shenmue Demon King unacceptable, and a terrible cold light flashed in its eyes. Obviously, the opponent had become a turtle in a jar, but suddenly changed the offensive, which made the scene unacceptable to the Shenmue Demon King. As the overlord of the secret realm, it was hit hard today, and now it was broken free from its own forbidden formation by a young cultivator, which was really beyond its expectations. Little did it know that Qin Feng's way of formation was terrifying, otherwise it would be impossible to see through the formation on the 9 dragon mountains that blessed the Shenmue Demon King's cultivation. However, because the Demon King of the Divine Wood was provoked by Qin Feng, he was so furious that he did not associate Qin Feng's destruction of Longshan with the destruction of his formation. It was not until this moment that he truly knew that the other party's destruction of Longshan was not accidental, but because he saw through the formation on Longshan. Invincible Scratch Lottery System. Author, Xiankong Fashi. Chapter 824. The eyes of the Demon King of Divine Wood were cold. He just watched helplessly as the boy of the 6th level of the feudal lord slipped away, but he was powerless. The opponent's attainments in formations were far more profound than that of the overlord of the secret realm, so he could only be furious. Because, as the overlord and guardian of the 2nd level of the secret realm, he could not leave this place. After learning the news of this level, the Demon King of Divine Wood knew that the matter was settled, and could only watch Qin Feng disappear at the exit of the secret realm quietly. Swish! Qin Feng stepped on the thunder step and came to the exit of the 2nd level of the secret realm again. He moved his body and turned into a flash of lightning and jumped out. At the moment Qin Feng appeared on the 1st level, the 9 great kings waved their killing style towards Qin Feng. The energy wave, like a vast sea, intertwined with the complete explosion of the King Rune, instantly turned the place where Qin Feng stood into a ruin. However, Qin Feng had already made a response. The moment he jumped out of the 2nd level, he did not move the God King's cover and fled to the distance. However, he was still affected by the edge power of the Great King Rune. The immovable God King light shield under the 9 prohibitions swayed and blocked most of the energy. He was just agitated and did not suffer serious damage. You all will die. Qin Feng was suspended in the air, with murderous intent in his eyes. He was very angry when he was besieged by 9 great kings. If an ordinary cultivator was attacked by a great king, he would have been crushed to pieces. Even if an ordinary king was beaten to the side of the divine wood demon king, he would become the food of the divine wood demon king. For Qin Feng, these people who attacked him had already taken the way to death. He glanced at everyone present, with murderous intent in his eyes, looking down on the kings. As soon as the sentence came out, everyone present was dumbfounded. Qin Feng was too strong. Facing 9 great kings, he was still so domineering. You know, if ordinary cultivators are besieged by 9 people, even if they are lucky enough not to die, they can only swallow their anger secretly and pretend that nothing happened. Otherwise, if they attack the 9 kings together, even ordinary holy lands cannot afford to offend them. In the eyes of ordinary people, if they are besieged by the great kings, they can only suffer a loss in silence. Because the forces standing behind the great kings are unimaginable. If they declare war on the kings of 9 major forces, they will probably become the target of public criticism and the whole world will be their enemy. Haha, you are not old, but you are very arrogant. A great king sneered, with contempt in his eyes, and did not take Qin Feng seriously at all. It's ridiculous that you are so arrogant at such a young age and want to kill the king by yourself. Another king spoke up. A kid from the 6th level of the vassal world dared to scold them. If such words were spread out, people would probably laugh their teeth off. The 1st level of the secret realm was glowing, and countless energies surged towards Qin Feng. He was gathering the energy between heaven and earth to repair the wounds in his internal organs. At this moment, under the blessing of the immovable God King, his body was surrounded by essence, and he looked at the king expressionlessly. Since you attack me, you must be prepared to die. Qin Feng's eyes turned cold, and he directly opened the critical stone. He waved the sword in his hand and used the supreme heaven-slaying sword. The terrible sword immortal martial arts, under the blessing of the golden immortal weapon, flowed out hundreds of times of energy in an instant, with unparalleled power. Qin Feng slashed forward with the sword, and this casual attack enveloped the most advanced king on the spot. A mere junior in the realm of princes also wants to kill us all. Who do you think you are? At first, the great king didn't care, but when he felt the power flowing from the sword slashed by Qin Feng, he was no longer calm. Because he found that the sword used by the young man in front of him was more powerful than the princes and monks. Buzz! In the first moment, 10 layers of light shields surged around the great king, and the light shields were engraved with the king's rune, which blessed his body and blocked Qin Feng's attack. However, under the blessing of the critical stone, Qin Feng's attack soared hundreds of times, and the terrifying energy radiated in the sky, causing the world to turbulent. This sword was so dazzling that it revealed a terrifying fairy fire, and it cut the body of the great king in an instant. Ah! A piercing scream came out. The great king didn't care much at first, because the existence of their realm could regenerate broken limbs, and even if the body was broken, it could use the true energy to continue and recover. However, at this time, he felt the fairy fire on Qin Feng's sword, which made him feel that death was coming, and the flame frightened him. Such a terrible flame could actually prevent the great accomplishment king from merging into one with his flesh and blood. Such immortal swords and martial arts threatened their magical realm. Puff! In just a moment, the great accomplishment king's body was smashed apart, and his blood and chi were burned into ashes by the immortal fire flowing from Qin Feng's immortal sword, turning into a pile of flying ash. With just one sword, a great accomplishment king was killed. Such a scene made people terrified and made the cultivators in the distance dumbfounded. Originally, one of the great accomplishment kings who swore to mock Qin Feng was killed by Qin Feng just like that. Such a scene was really domineering. The other 8 great kings were all horrified. They frowned. The young man in front of them killed a great king with just a wave of his hand. Such fighting power was too extraordinary. You should know that the 9 great kings were not ordinary. Even in the battle with the demon king of the divine wood, they did not die. Even if they were injured, their might was not something that ordinary princes could resist. However, the young man in front of them said he wanted to kill them. He was not joking. The other party killed a great king with just a wave of his hand. Such a scene made them dumbfounded. When they thought of a fellow who had just fought side by side with them, they were killed by the young man in front of them. Such a scene made them unable to calm down. Young man, do you know who you killed? You will bring disaster to your sect. One of the remaining 8 kings had cold eyes. If they had not been injured in the battle with the demon king of the divine wood, how could they be humiliated by the boy of the 6th heaven of the princes in front of them? That great king died tragically at the hands of a little monk because of carelessness. This is too sad. You will bring disaster to the forces behind you and your family. Another great prince growled. He had a close relationship with the king who was killed. The other died in front of him, and he was too careless to stop him. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Invincible Scratch Lottery System. Author, Xiankong Fashi. Chapter 825. I don't care who you are, if you dare to kill me, you will all die. Qin Feng was suspended in mid-air, his white Taoist robes flying, his powerful aura blooming, looking down at the 8 kings. The critical stone can superimpose his power 200 times. This level of combat power is comparable to that of the Forbidden God, and is one of Qin Feng's biggest trump cards. Just now, when he faced the Shenmue Demon King, he did not use the critical stone. One can imagine how angry Qin Feng was at this moment. He created an opportunity for these people to obtain chalcedony, and when he was about to leave, it was because of these people's obstruction that he was almost killed by the Shenmue Demon King. Now, after they assassinated him, they did not leave, but waited in the first level to attack him again. This made Qin Feng's heart soar with anger. He knew the identities of these 9 great kings. No need to think too much, they must all come from some holy places. After all, it is impossible for ordinary big forces to cultivate such a fierce and powerful Dachshund king. But so what, behind Qin Feng stands the ancient Holy Land, and he himself has the strength to kill the Dachshund king. Even if the remaining 8 kings are all members of the Holy Land, he is still fearless and will kill them all if they dare to offend him without leaving any further trouble. In the distance, countless young monks were all stunned. They knew that the young man who was almost the same age as them was not joking. The opponent raised his hand and slashed his sword to kill a great king. Such strength and performance were enough to show that the opponent did have such qualifications. Who do you think you are? You are just a prince. If you want to drive us all away, you are really overestimating your capabilities. The Dachshund king said, their origins are precious and their strength is immeasurable. Even if he is seriously injured, it is not something that a mere boy from the feudal realm can humiliate. While speaking, the Dachshund king raised his hand and punched out a king's rune. The king's rune condensed into a divine sword in the void and pierced the void, making the first level of the secret realm tremble. The terrifying king's killing move flew across the sky with extremely fierce momentum. A fellow monk who was also a monk in the realm of Dachshund king was beheaded. This scene made them feel the same. Qin Feng sneered. As he waved his hand, a terrifying sword energy burst out, making the void tremble. The golden immortal level immortal slaying sword, with the blessing of the critical stone, crossed the void. All of a sudden, the opponent's sword energy collapsed into the void. At the same time, the sword energy continued to move forward, shattering the protective runes of the great king. However, the king of Datong was mentally prepared. He retreated while the runes collapsed, avoiding the same result as his colleague who died on the spot. At this moment, the Dachan king's expression was extremely solemn. With his move this time, he could confirm that the opponent really had the qualifications to kill the Dachan king. Just now, the other party was able to kill one of his fellow Taoists. That was because the other party really had such ability, and it was not a coincidence. You self-righteous things, who do you think you are? In your Holy Land sect, you can dominate and do whatever you want, but in this secret realm, even if your Holy Lord comes, you have to be guarded by me. Qin Feng's voice was very calm, but the killing intent in his eyes was very fierce. 9 Dachan kings were attacking him. It was impossible for anyone not to be angry in this situation. Young man, you think too highly of yourself. At this time, the other Dachan kings also shouted in a deep voice. They knew that if they did not join forces at this time, they might really capsize in the gutter. Because the young man in front of him has the ability to reverse the movement of immortals. Although he is a 6th level prince, his qualifications are already comparable to those of a great king. Even when the opponent faced the Shenmue demon king, his power was not inferior. Such a proud man of heaven is an existence that is difficult to find in the ages. If he cannot be killed, the consequences will be disastrous. What are you forcing me to do? Come and fight. No matter which holy land you come from, none of you can escape today. Qin Feng's words were very concise, and he responded directly. He was still fearless in the face of the 8 great kings. As Qin Feng's words fell, behind him, the divine king's vision of the moon rising from the sea appeared. The huge disk turned into a divine ring behind his back. It was very astonishing. It flowed with terrifying power and merged with Qin Feng's body, looking as bright as a god. In the distance, countless monks who had not left were shocked when they saw this scene. Qin Feng's vision appeared, and they finally recognized Qin Feng's figure. The other party turned out to be the genius who caused a stir in the secret realm not long ago. This person's visions bloomed, shocking everyone. Vision of the God King. There was a chill in the eyes of the 8 Dachan kings. They looked at the vision revealed behind Qin Feng in amazement. Its power was even comparable to that of the Dachan kings. The figure of this young prodigy is extremely astonishing in his killing power, and the blood of his God King is flowing, making the whole void roar. How is it possible? There was no such young man in the ancient Qin tribe. There is a king roaring. As we all know, in the ancient Holy Land, only the God King body of the Qin tribe is the most famous. However, in their memories, such a young Tianjiao God King has never appeared in the Holy Land of the Qin clan. In recent years, the Qin clan's divine king physique has not been outstanding. Even among the most famous extraordinary saints in the Qin clan, none of them has a divine king physique. And the qualifications of the young man in front of him, his strong blood and qi, are already on par with the legendary God King ancestor of the Qin clan. Puff. Qin Feng attacked boldly, his speed was beyond imagination, and the thunder step allowed him to cross the void with the God King vision, and no one could stop him. The void was shaking, and the immortal sword in Qin Feng's hand surged with terrifying power. A brilliant golden light fell from the sky and slashed at the great king in the front. This sword was so dazzling under the blessing of the critical stone, and with the blessing of the God King vision, his combat power soared again. Just now, the great king who was injured by him was too late to dodge, and the sword light of the immortal sword crossed the sky and cut him into 2 pieces on the spot. What was even more shocking was that the king screamed, and he wanted to struggle to get out, but he was powerless. A phoenix appeared in front of Qin Feng, and the divine form was surging with flames, and the flowing extreme intent drowned the great king on the spot. The terrifying heat wave was released, and the great king's eyes were full of unwillingness, but he could not get rid of the power of the phoenix under the blessing of the critical stone, and died with his eyes open. Just by taking action, he killed 2 great kings. This kind of posture is simply unstoppable. Invincible Scratch Lottery System. Author, Xiankong Fashi. Chapter 826. How dare you? The other 7 great kings swooped down at Qin Feng the moment he raised his hand. Endless king runes intertwined on their bodies, and the killing aura was shocking. Unfortunately, Qin Feng was faster. He killed the king directly in front of all the great kings. No one could beat him. Boom. At the same time, the attacks of the 7 great kings hit the place where Qin Feng stood. A golden light flashed, and Qin Feng was covered by the immovable God King light shield. The attacks of the 7 great kings acted on the light shield, which only made Qin Feng's God King light shield shake for a while, but did not break. With the blessing of the Tyrant Stone, Qin Feng's protective light shield became extremely bright and solid to an unimaginable level. He actually fought against 7 alone and completely resisted them. This kind of power was really terrifying. Humph. You're looking for death. Qin Feng was fearless. With the blessing of the critical stone, the light shield on his body shone brightly, and the immortal sword swept across the sky. The immortal sword glowed in the void, and the golden sword energy permeated. On it, there were wisps of sword edges, making the world tremble. Dang clang clang. Qin Feng began to fight back. The supreme heaven-slaying sword technique was like a golden galaxy, and the dazzling golden light burst out instantly. The 7 great gods and kings were all shocked. Qin Feng's sword wind was too strong. Just now, he used this sword technique to kill 2 great kings. This made them know that the weapon in Qin Feng's hand was far beyond the ordinary immortal weapon. Swish, swish. At this moment, the 7 great gods and kings retreated. When they retreated, their hands were naturally not idle. They sacrificed the magic weapons they had carried with them for many years. This kind of magic weapon was forged by the combination of their innate chi and the immortal sword, and it burst out with terrifying light in the void. With the blessing of the King Rune, the magic weapon fell towards Qin Feng, and the dense King Rune flooded the void. But Qin Feng was too invincible with the blessing of the critical stone. The golden immortal martial arts, the supreme heavenly swordsmanship, was too high level, and no one could stop his might. The immortal sword was also a golden immortal grade weapon. The sword light flowing out at this moment was overwhelming the sky. The weapons of the 7 great kings, who had cultivated their lives with their lives, all exploded after encountering Qin Feng's immortal sword. Even the immortal weapons they cultivated with their lives could not withstand Qin Feng's immortal sword and turned into powder in the void. The destruction of the magic weapon made them feel the same. The body of the great king was backlashed, and in an instant, he spit out a stream of blood. Just one move injured 7 great kings. This scene was seen by many cultivators in the distant sky, and they were all dumbfounded. A young cultivator fought against 7 great kings and injured them all. This scene shocked them all. This young man suppressed some old people. Who can compete with him? At this moment, the 7 great kings were also suffering. They were seriously injured in the battle with the king of the divine tree. This caused their cultivation to fall to the 3rd level of the great king. Otherwise, 9 people would not be unable to deal with a young man of the 6th level of the princes. However, even if it was only the power of the 3rd level, the boundless power of the 9 people combined was enough to destroy a large sect. It was a pity that they encountered such an extremely heaven-defying existence as Qin Feng. With the blessing of the system, the other party was able to reverse the immortals and said that the energy burst out exceeded that of the great king and had an invincible power. Don't be arrogant. As a dignified great king, he was suppressed and retreated by a young cultivator. This was unacceptable to the 7 great kings. On their bodies, the king runes were engraved, and the protective armor on their bodies was also pushed to the extreme. They rose up and blocked Qin Feng's momentum. Because at this time, they saw that Qin Feng's momentum was actually rising step by step, and the opponent actually had a terrifying combat power that controlled the overall situation. If they could not interrupt the opponent in this invincible momentum, they might all be damaged here. After all, they were great kings, and their power was very strong. At this moment, the 7 people joined forces, and the infinite energy that erupted was so strong that even Qin Feng had to retreat. Qin Feng's speed was too fast. The thunder step allowed him to cross the void and get out of the encirclement of the 7 people in an instant. Swish! At the same time, Qin Feng turned his hand and the immortal sword flowed in his palm. The thick sword light was hundreds of feet long, making him look like a sword god. The sword blade fell down and stood directly in the crowd of 7 great kings, with sword energy shooting out in all directions. Swish, swish, swish. The sword energy rushed into the sky and kept pressing down, surging around the 7 great kings. The king runes on their bodies could not stop it at all, and were wiped out by Qin Feng's sword energy. How is it possible? The 7 great kings were all shocked. They moved their feet in the void and quickly retreated to the back to avoid Qin Feng's sword light. However, Qin Feng's power and sword light were too fast, and the 7 great kings could not get rid of Qin Feng's attack at all. They were covered by the sword light, trembling all over, and the king runes completely exploded, pushing the defense to the extreme. Waves of metal trembling spread out, and the defensive light shield on them also exploded under Qin Feng's sword. Moreover, their body armor, under the bombardment of the sword, also disintegrated in an instant, and could not resist it at all. Facing the power of Qin Feng's striking stone, these Dachshund kings used all their cards to block Qin Feng's attack. The sword energy overflowing from Qin Feng's immortal killing sword fell on the ground, causing the entire secret realm to tremble, and the mountains collapsed, making it look like a mess. It's interesting. A cold smile appeared at the corner of Qin Feng's mouth. If an ordinary Dachshund king encountered the energy blessing of 200 times his own critical stone, he would probably die long ago. The 7 great masters in front of them all came from famous families. They were able to survive against the golden immortal martial arts wielded by the critical stone. It was truly extraordinary. Fellow Taoists, we can't let this guy underestimate us. Let's fight hard. At this time, a Dachshund king suddenly shouted. After seeing Qin Feng's power, he knew that he would never be able to stop the opponent alone. As his words fell, he took the brunt and charged forward with great force. Around him, the 2 Dachshund kings were inspired, and they also raised their fighting power to the extreme, and took action against Qin Feng Can. However, at this moment, something extremely surprising happened. The great master who had just spoken suddenly paused, and then fled into the distance at an even faster speed. Such a scene was truly shocking. The 6 Dachshund kings present and countless monks in the sky were shocked. You humming. Window. Tabula equals window. Tabula. Tabula.push, mode, thumbspeed -01, container, tabula below article thumbnail -300x250, placement, below article thumbnail -300x250, target. Type, mix. Invincible Scratch Lottery System. Author, Xiankong Fashi. Chapter 827. Those 2 accomplished kings were spitting out fragrant fragrance. They never expected that their companions who just shouted louder than anyone else would slip away faster than anyone else. The other 4 Dachshund kings also had stagnant expressions. That companion was a Dachshund king, and he didn't even want to lose face. This was really despicable. Countless monks in the sky were also stunned. This scene made them unbelievable. They felt that the aloof image of the Dachshund king in their minds collapsed instantly. In the face of life and death, even the lofty Dachshund king cannot escape the vulgarity. In the hearts of ordinary people, this kind of existence is like a god. In the face of crisis, he is a dead Taoist friend but not a poor Taoist. He is no different from ordinary people. At this moment, the remaining 6 Dachshund kings were all in panic. One king ran away for his own safety, causing the remaining fighting spirit in their hearts to completely disappear. It was like a domino effect. One person escaped, causing the other 6 Dachan kings to lose their confidence in fighting. The bodies of the remaining 4 Dachan kings suddenly trembled, and light surged from their bodies. They also fled towards the distance and did not stay for a long time. After all, after being injured, their combat effectiveness is not as good as before. If they don't escape, they may be the next to die. You want to run away, can you escape? A cruel smile appeared at the corner of Qin Feng's mouth. He was not prepared to let go of any of the 7 kings. White Elephant, go and guard the exit from the first floor. No king is allowed to let go. Qin Feng's voice sounded in the first level of the secret realm. As his words fell, Bai Xiang, who was guarding Yeqing Cheng and others with Long Ma, heard the words and immediately answered loudly. Yes, master. Immediately afterwards, the void trembled, and a huge white elephant crossed the void and blocked the door on the first floor. Brush. Qin Feng's eyes turned cold. With the blessing of the critical stone, he crossed the void. His body was covered with the vision of the God King, and his power was very astonishing. The immortal killing sword has a thick sword beam that is 200 feet long, and its killing power is astonishing. The immortal fire flowing on it can destroy everything. Puff. In just a moment, the 2 Dachan kings who were the first to rush towards Qin Feng were chopped alive in the void by Qin Feng's immortal killing sword before they had time to dodge. At the same time, the terrifying fairy fire filled the air and completely submerged the 2 great kings. Ah! In the fairy fire, the 2 great kings screamed repeatedly. They were full of unwillingness, but they could not escape, and in the end they could only die in peace. Qin Feng was really too fast. Lei Xingbu could allow him to cross the void. With just one sword, he killed 2 kings in front of countless monks. This kind of power was unstoppable. The void was shaking. Qin Feng was stronger than imagined. He walked with thunder on his feet, and once again chased after a great king. After rushing out for hundreds of miles, Qin Feng stopped the figure of a Dachan king in the secret realm. Boy, I'll fight you. The Dachan king was extremely frightened. He wanted to fight Qin Feng, but in his injured state, he was far from Qin Feng's opponent. With the blessing of the critical stone, Qin Feng killed the Dachan king with 200 times the power. His power was extremely shocking, filling countless monks with fear. After killing the Dachan king, Qin Feng actually got an immortal flower from the storage space that the Dachan king carried with him. This was an unexpected surprise for him. Since then, there are now only 4 of the 9 kings who have taken action against Qin Feng, and Qin Feng has no intention of letting them go. He stepped on thunder steps and turned over the first level of the secret realm. However, these 4 great kings seem to have evaporated from the world. Qin Feng was unable to find their figures in this secret realm. The white elephant, the holy beast guarding the portal to the secret realm, was sure that it did not notice the departure of the Dachan kings. In other words, these 4 great kings are still in the secret realm. Did you escape to the second floor? Qin Feng frowned. He didn't believe that the 4 seriously injured Dachan kings dared to enter the second level. You must know that the Shenmue Demon King, in addition to hating him the most, also wants to kill these 9 great kings. It is unlikely that these 4 accomplished kings will enter the second level of the secret realm. So Qin Feng, with his fiery eyes and golden eyes, used his magical powers to look through the secret realm again. Finally, he discovered the figures of 2 great kings from the magma in the hinterland of the mountain. At this time, these 2 accomplished kings were hiding in the magma, preparing to refine the immortal chalcedony and recover from their injuries. Unexpectedly, they were deceived by Qin Feng silently, as gently as a ghost, and used the Tai's Hang heaven-destroying sword technique with the immortal killing sword to successfully kill the 2 great kings. He obtained 2 chalcedony flowers from these 2 accomplished kings. The energy contained in this fairy chalcedony is so pure and amazing. If these two people were discovered later, they would probably refine the fairy. By that time, it will be even more difficult to kill the two of them. 7 of the 9 great perfect kings have gone away, and the remaining 2 have hidden methods beyond imagination. Qin Feng almost searched the secret realm again, but could not find the 2 of them. Finally, Qin Feng came to the portal and met Long Ma and the others. He knew that at this moment, the 2 accomplished kings had probably refined the immortal flowers and restored them to their prime. If Shang Qian and the others encountered them, they would be in great danger. Sure enough, Qin Feng's guess was wrong. Just when he was about to meet Shang Qian and the others, the void shook, and the 2 great kings took action. It turned out that the 2 great kings really hid in the second level of the secret realm. They used the secret technique of their clan to deceive the perception of the demon king of the divine wood. After they refined the immortal flower jade marrow under the eyes of the demon king of the divine wood, they recovered to the peak of their cultivation, their divine power surged, and their might was extremely strong. After seeing Qin Feng's extraordinary state, they decided to start with Qin Feng's relatives. Buzz. The world was shaking, and the might of the 2 kings was beyond imagination. Their palm prints covered the sky and the sun, and their might was terrifying. At the first time, Long Ma and Shang Qian found something wrong. They were surrounded by light, guarding Yeqing Cheng, Zhou Qing Zuk, Lan Yu and others, and shaking the 2 great kings. Although Shang Qian's aptitude was extremely strong, she had just entered the realm of the great accomplishment king after all, and her cultivation was only at the first level of the great accomplishment king. Under the bombardment of these 2 kings, she was obviously running out of strength. Swish! At the critical moment, Qin Feng arrived with his thunder steps, and the immortal sword in his hand flowed with brilliant golden light. A thick sword beam crossed the sky and split the void. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Invincible Scratch Lottery System. Author, Xiankong Fashi. Chapter 828. Dang. The great King Li Xiao let out a light roar, and a black gourd appeared in his palm. The gourd gushed out endless rays of light, turning into a light-like shield, blocking Qin Feng's attack to kill the immortal. Very good, if you don't run away after your injuries are healed, you are courting death. Qin Feng stood in mid-air, his white Taoist robe fluttering, and a powerful momentum flowed around him. Originally, the cultivation of these 2 great kings had been fully restored. If they wanted to escape, it would be very difficult for Qin Feng to catch them. Unfortunately, because the injuries of these 2 great kings were fully restored, their self-confidence also swelled. They wanted to kill Qin Feng to vent their hatred. Humph, at this point, you are still so arrogant. I really don't know whether to say you are stupid or ignorant. The great King Li Xiao snorted coldly, his expression was extremely cold. As a living fossil of Xiantian Holy Land, he had never been forced into such a situation. At this moment, their cultivation was restored and they stood at the top of the 7th rank of the king again. Even with the current state of the demon king of the divine wood, they dared not say that the 2 of them were seeking their own death. If we were not injured, how could you be allowed to run wild in this secret realm? The eyes of the great King Zhongmang flashed with lightning. As another living fossil of the Xiantian Holy Land, they went to the secret realm this time to obtain the immortal flower jasper to improve their realm. But they never thought that in the end, the immortal flower jasper was wasted on healing. Not only did they work in vain, but they almost lost their lives and suffered a great loss. At this moment, the 2 were really angry. They wanted to catch Qin Feng's woman and slowly humiliate the other party. Unexpectedly, the other party came again at the critical moment, which made their plan have to give up. However, since the real owner has come, there is no need to make these little episodes. After they get rid of Qin Feng, they will slowly kidnap the other party's woman. That is enough. Swish. At this moment, the two abandoned Shang Qian, Ye Cheng and others, and attacked Qin Feng. In Li Xiao's palm, the black gourd spurted out sword energy, interweaving with the king's runes, and the power was terrifying. In the hands of King Zhongmang, a stone tower appeared. The stone tower instantly grew larger in the void, and a terrifying light flowed out of it, spewing out a black lightning, which was unstoppable. At this time, the stone tower and the black gourd were suspended in the air, sealing the space, and the overflowing energy slashed towards Qin Feng. Qin Feng's body glowed, and he held the immortal sword to block it. The immortal sword spread out a beam of light in the void, instantly shattering the energy beams emitted by the two weapons. At the same time, the immortal sword floated up under his soul, resisting the suppression of the two weapons. The three immortal weapons were entangled between heaven and earth at this moment, and the murderous aura penetrated the void. The immortal weapons collided violently, and a clanging sound was heard. At this moment, Li Xiao and Zhongmang, the great king, used their own magic weapons to imprison the space. Because, after they saw Qin Feng's body movements, they knew that this boy was extremely fast. If the other party wanted to escape, the two of them would not be able to catch up. Therefore, in order to kill Qin Feng, the two used the king's weapons to seal the void. Little did they know that Qin Feng had no intention of escaping at all. These two great kings, no matter how extraordinary their origins were, had already sentenced them to death after attacking him repeatedly. Humph, kid, you have lost your weapon. Let's see how you can stop the attack of the two of us. The great king Li Xiao was extremely arrogant at this time. In his opinion, Qin Feng's extraordinary divine power was completely due to the weapon in his hand. That weapon could cut open the flesh of the great king, and let the other party succeed again and again. At this moment, the opponent's weapon was out of hand, and he rushed towards them with his flesh, which made them reveal a cruel and cold smile at the corners of their mouths. The cultivator's cultivation has reached the realm of the great king. His body pressure is against the sky. The king's rune can even erase the divine power. He has invincible power. What's more important is that their bodies are immeasurable and comparable to immortal gold. The young man in front of him, after losing his weapon, how can he fight against the two cultivators whose bodies have reached the king realm? Boom! Qin Feng directly fought with actual actions. He was covered by the immovable God King. With the blessing of the critical stone, his body was more terrible than immortal gold. At this moment, the moon and the sun intertwined, and Kunpeng moved the 9 heavens and turned into runes, which were blessed on Qin Feng's palm. The power of the moon and the sun was connected together, and it exploded. The brilliant light enveloped the two great kings. The eyes of the two great kings condensed. After the other party lost the immortal weapon, he could still have such a majestic light, which made the two secretly shocked. This person's power is too strong. He only has the cultivation of the vassal realm. Even the king can compete. This is really hard to understand. Boom! At this moment, the two kings were surrounded by a bright light, and the king runes were added to their bodies. They waved their palms forward to intercept. The two of them who had recovered from their injuries were incomparable in power. Their palms covered the sky and the sun, and the black light was in pieces. They collided with Qin Feng's palms, and the energy exploded. This attack made the secret realm tremble. A loud noise was heard. The palms of the two great kings kept spasming. The king runes on their bodies were wiped out by Qin Feng's palm wind. The moon and the sun intertwined together, and the power they showed was too strong. Even if Qin Feng was alone, he blocked the physical attacks of the two people under the blessing of the critical strike, and had an invincible deterrence. How is it possible? The great King Zhongmang was shocked and angry. He was quite surprised that Qin Feng could actually stop their king bodies. After all, they had already recovered their cultivation at this time. After the opponent lost the immortal weapon, his physical body was also invincible, which showed that the opponent could kill the king, not only relying on the blessing of the immortal weapon. The opponent's physical body was also on par with the king. This posture could not be said to be invincible at the same level, but it was a retrograde immortal who could kill the enemy across the realm. Blue Dragon Body 4. Zhang Mang said lightly, and he took the initiative to attack. The king rune was shrouded on his body, and a terrible power flowed around his body. He turned into a big dragon and pounced on Qin Feng. At this time, he used the secret method of Xiantian Holy Land, the Blue Dragon Body. This long dragon body is a top-level martial art of Earth Immortals, with overwhelming power. In mid-air, Qin Feng's eyes condensed. He saw a familiar mark in this secret technique performed by this person. The opponent seemed to share the same secret method with the cultivator from Xiankong State whom he had killed before, which meant that the sect of this great king in front of him was likely to be connected with Xiankong State. Qin Feng naturally did not dare to expand, as the Kang Long body used by this person was far more terrifying than that of the previous king. Because this person's cultivation was stronger, his combat power was also at the peak, and the combat power he exerted was extremely terrifying. Invincible Scratch Lottery System. Author, Xiankong Fashi. Chapter 829. Bang. Qin Feng raised his hand, the moon and the sun intertwined, and Kunpeng moved the 9 heavens to perform, with earth-shaking power. Between Qin Feng's palm and fingers, a huge Kunpeng flew out of his hand, tearing the world apart, with overwhelming power. As a golden immortal martial art, at this time, under the blessing of the 200 times energy of the critical strike stone, it burst out with infinite power. Swish. In the secret realm, a huge Kunpeng swooped down, with the moon and the sun intertwined on it, covering the sky and the sun, like an ancient beast, descending into the world. The great king Zhang Mang changed color instantly. He was covered by Qin Feng's huge Kunpeng below, which made him look horrified. If it weren't for the terrible blue dragon body he performed, he would have died under Qin Feng's palm. Boom! Kunpeng's claws tore the sky, and the terrible energy acted down, directly tearing the blue dragon into pieces in the void. At the same time, the great king Zhang Mang retreated instantly. He found that even if his combat power was at its peak, he could not stop the boy in front of him, which made him panic. However, Qin Feng was not going to let him go. He moved his mind slightly, and the huge Kunpeng in the sky soared up. The speed was too fast, just like a fleeting light, and it caught up with Zhang Mang in an instant. At this moment, Zhang Mang's face was extremely solemn. His flesh was covered with the king's rune, and the whole body was engraved with golden light, pushing the defense to the extreme. And not far away from him, his senior brother Li Xiao also made seals with both hands, and used the king's rune to interweave together to block Qin Feng's attack for him. Boom, crack. The world moved strangely, and a metallic tremor came out. Qin Feng's Kunpeng collided with Zhang Mang's body, shattering the king's rune on the spot, and then hit his body shield. Then, his body shield trembled, and a broken sound came, and the body shield disintegrated on the spot. Puff. At this moment, Zhang Mang's protective armor also consumed the last of his divine energy. After blocking Qin Feng's attack, the stairs dissipated. However, Zhang Mang's own blood and qi were surging, and he was shocked and spit out a mouthful of blood, and his blood and qi were sluggish at that time. At this moment, Zhang Mang's eyes were dull. After his cultivation was restored to the peak, he still couldn't stop the attack of the young man in front of him, which made him unacceptable. You know, as a living fossil of Xiantian Holy Land, his cultivation has been at the top of the list. Now he can't even stop a young man, which makes him feel uncontrollable and trembling all over. Swish. At the first time, Li Xiao came to Zhang Mang. He saw that his junior brother was actually a little unstable at the moment. This was entirely because the other party, as an old strong man, was suppressed and beaten to such a point by a young man, which made his heart unbearable. But Li Xiao knew that at this time, he couldn't let his junior brother die, otherwise, the result of the two of them would only be death. "Brother, take action!" Li Xiao's angry shout rang in Zhang Mang's ears, and in an instant, Zhang Mang was awakened as if he had been enlightened. At this moment, he looked at Qin Feng with no more haziness, only gnashing hatred. As his mind moved, the stone tower in the sky instantly grew larger, and a dazzling sword energy came towards Qin Feng. At the same time, he and his senior brother Li Xiao turned into a wisp of green smoke and attacked Qin Feng. At this moment, they used the Kang Long body to push their combat power to the extreme. After reaching their level of cultivation, using the Kang Long secret method can allow their combat power to be superimposed, and they will burn their blood and chi to double their combat power again. Although the two will have sequelae after this battle, they can no longer care about so much. Qin Feng's eyes were calm. He looked around and listened to all directions. At this moment, he felt the energy suppressed by the stone tower in the sky, and the light shield of the immovable king around him was still bright. A loud clang sound came, and the air column shot down by the stone tower in the sky attacked the light shield of the immovable god king. There was a tremor, and it failed to break. Zhang Mang and Li Xiao naturally had no hope that this attack would work, because at this time they had already rushed towards Qin Feng in unison. Behind them, a strange phenomenon appeared, and their fighting power was born to the peak of this life. They were ready to fight Qin Feng to decide the outcome. Huh! Qin Feng's eyes condensed, and he was very surprised, because he found that the fighting power of the two people at this time soared, exactly the same as the Kang Long cultivator in Xiankong state that he had killed before. This made him confirm again that the other party's sect must be connected to Xiankong state. At this moment, Qin Feng also found that the two people wanted to decide the outcome, and he naturally had no reason to hold back. The God King is here. At this moment, with a slight whistle, the Six Paths Immortal Sword appeared in his hand. As the top weapon of the Heavenly Immortal, the Six Paths Immortal Sword, with the blessing of the 200-fold critical stone, can perform the God King sword technique that defies the heavens. Behind Qin Feng, a God King image that looks exactly like him appeared. The God King image appeared between heaven and earth, revealing a terrible kingly pressure. As Qin Feng swung the immortal sword in his hand and slashed forward, a blade light that was hundreds of feet long crossed the sky. The terrible long sword was invincible. With the blessing of the critical stone, the blade light instantly slashed the two kings. This fight was so fast that countless cultivators in the distance were dazzled. They didn't notice the movements of the three people in the field, and found that the two kings flew backwards at a faster speed. Boom! The two kings, Li Xiao and Zhang Mang, were all blasted thousands of meters away and smashed on a mountain, causing the mountains to shake. Qin Feng was suspended in the air, and the fluctuations emanating from his body frightened countless cultivators. They felt that Qin Feng, holding the immortal sword, was like a real god king, with overwhelming power and brilliance like a god. Swish! Without the suppression of the two kings, the stone tower and gourd in the sky were easily sealed by Qin Feng's sword of beheading the immortals. Qin Feng used the band to seal the stone tower and the black gourd, and then threw them into the space he carried with him. At this time, Qin Feng combined his two swords, holding the sword of beheading the immortals and the 6 immortal swords, and came to the top of the mountain. He looked down at the two great kings in the mountains, with a cold mockery on his lips. These two kings thought they only had one immortal sword, but they didn't know that the power of the Six Paths Immortal Sword was not much weaker than the immortal sword. Moreover, the Six Paths Immortal Sword could break the spirit of the kings, making them unable to close together. This is why the two kings who were blown away could not fly out of the mountain. At this moment, Zhang Mang and Li Xiao were horrified to death. They found that their broken bodies could not be gathered together. Invincible Scratch Lottery System. Author, Xiankong Fa Shi. Chapter 830. The great kings Li Xiao and Zhang Mang were in despair. In their prime, neither of them could beat the other. And now, their bodies were broken and could not be connected together, so they were no match for Qin Feng. At this time, they desperately fled to the distance, trying to get rid of Qin Feng's figure. However, Qin Feng had already locked them. In his palm, the 6 immortal swords and the immortal sword crossed the sky, and the terrible light was hundreds of feet long. The immortal sword flowed with immortal fire, and the 6 immortal swords flowed with red light. Suddenly, they slashed from the void to the ground. At this moment, the first layer of the entire secret realm was shaking. Li Xiao and Zhang Mang were covered by the immortal fire. They both screamed and died completely. After killing the two, a scratch card with dazzling golden light appeared on the spot. Qin Feng's mind moved, and he took the star gold scratch card over and then scratched it. Ding! Congratulations to the host for successfully using the star gold scratch card. The 6-Dao immortal sword has been upgraded to a lower level weapon of the golden immortal. Hearing the prompt sound of the system, Qin Feng's eyes lit up. The reward obtained by scratching the star gold scratch card this time was very good. He actually cashed it on the spot, confirming that his strength has greatly increased. Having killed 9 great kings in one battle, Qin Feng's figure was engraved in the eyes of countless young cultivators, making them awed like a god. And Lan Yu was even more trembling. Qin Feng was about the same age as her, but his combat power was already on par with some older strong men. Especially the other party was like a jade, with a slender and well-proportioned body. When he moved, he was like a tiger, but when he was still, he was like a boy next door, which made her heart tremble. Let's go, we should leave. The first level of the secret realm calmed down. Qin Feng and his team had obtained enough materials here and were ready to leave. When Qin Feng led everyone to the exit of the secret realm, countless cultivators looked at the approaching figures of Qin Feng and his team, and retreated in panic. Many young geniuses looked at Qin Feng in awe, and they all looked up to him. You know, those great kings killed by Qin Feng were originally the geniuses of some holy lands, and they grew into living fossils with profound background. And Qin Feng was able to kill them all. This attitude was too transcendent and against the sky. So far, all the 9 kings who attacked Qin Feng have fallen. If this matter is spread, it will definitely break the sky. White Elephant, we are about to leave the secret realm. As I promised, you are free. Qin Feng stood in front of the door, ready to fulfill his promise when he conquered the holy beast White Elephant. The people around were slightly surprised when they heard this, especially Lan Yu and her protectors, who were even more dumbfounded. You know, the cultivation of the holy beast White Elephant has reached the ranks of kings. Any force or big sect, if they encounter such a holy beast, will rush to win it over. No one has ever let a great king leave like Qin Feng did. After all, having a great king by your side is enough to increase your strength and become your right-hand man. However, Qin Feng actually let him go so generously, which really surprised them. However, everyone felt relieved after thinking about it. This shows that Qin Feng is a person who does what he says. This is a very valuable quality, which proves his character and is very trustworthy. The holy beast White Elephant heard this and showed a difficult expression on his face. Although being enslaved by a human cultivator is not as good as being a casual cultivator. However, if it is allowed to stay in the Shenmue secret realm, the Shenmue Demon King will never let it go, and it will definitely die without a burial place. But it is different if it follows Qin Feng. Qin Feng is talented and will have a place in the entire ancient continent in the future. If it follows Qin Feng, it will definitely benefit in the future. Moreover, it would not have to worry about its life, which was much easier than staying in the secret realm of the Divine Tree and being remembered by the Divine Tree Demon King. Master, after these few days of contact with you, I am willing to submit to you and serve you. I hope you can give me this opportunity. At this time, the holy beast white elephant figured it out. It knelt down and submitted to Qin Feng. Following Qin Feng, not only can it walk out of the secret realm and travel around the continent, but it can also get rid of the influence of the divine tree demon king, which is simply killing two birds with one stone for it. Qin Feng smiled when he heard this. If he wanted to destroy the killer divine dynasty, what he lacked most was a great king. With the help of a strong man like the holy beast white elephant, he could achieve twice the result with half the effort, so how could he complain about it? In that case, then you can follow me. Qin Feng nodded and agreed to the submission of the holy beast white elephant. Although the white elephant was far from his opponent, it was enough to dominate Dongzhou. Even if it stayed in the Qin family, it could become the Qin family's guardian beast and protect the Qin family's safety. Lan Yu and others heard the reason. This sacred beast, the white elephant, had offended the demon king of the divine wood. If it stayed in the secret realm, it would be difficult to move forward. And following Qin Feng, with Qin Feng's extraordinary talent, it will definitely benefit in the future, and its achievements will far exceed the present. Let's go. Qin Feng waved at Zhou Qing'er and others, preparing to walk into the door. At this moment, the space trembled, and Li Luan and others came to Qin Feng's side. When she saw Qin Feng, her big eyes were suddenly filled with joy. "Young master, are you okay?" There was a big commotion in the secret realm just now. Li Luan's tall figure is almost perfect, her red lips are bright and sexy, and she has a hot beauty. Qin Feng directly helped her solve the problem of King Liang in the pavilion, which was the biggest threat to her position, which made her feel a different way in her heart. Not long ago, she was hiding on the second level of the secret realm to avoid the anger of the Shenmue Demon King, so she didn't know about the enmity between Qin Feng and the Nine Kings. "Thank you Miss Li for your concern, I'm fine." Qin Feng nodded. He had already known from the discussions of countless people around him that the woman in front of him was the young master of Luo Pavilion. If the other person has a favorable impression of you, then naturally you can't treat them with a straight face. "Master, are you leaving now?" "I don't know what to call you yet." Li Luan's big eyes were full of hope, although she had already wanted to name that name in her heart. However, she still hopes to hear that name in person from the other person's mouth. "Yes, this trip to the secret realm has met my expectations. The Holy Lord's birthday is coming soon, and we are ready to leave." Qin Feng smiled and nodded. He had gained a lot from this trip to the secret realm and was not going to waste any more time here. "Also, my surname is Qin." After saying these words, Qin Feng led everyone out of the secret realm, leaving Li Luan standing there, feeling very happy in his heart. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Invincible Scratch Lottery System. Author, Xiankong Fashi. Chapter 831. It was not until this moment that Li Luan was blocked by the monks from Xiantian Holy Land that he understood the cause of the matter. One can imagine the surprise in her heart when she saw that the young man who Ba was pointing at was Qin Feng. Hu Ba failed to get any useful information from Li Luan, so they naturally asked other monks. Those monks, under the pressure of the great king Hu Ba, revealed the details. This immediately made the monks of Xiantian Holy Land furious. A young monk killed 2 living fossils of Xiantian Holy Land. Such a result was too heavy a loss for them. Stop. At this time, Qin Feng and everyone happened to be passing by this place. He was about to leave Yukong, but he never expected to be stopped by the people from Xiantian Holy Land. "Elder, you must get rid of him. There are monks in Xiantian Holy Land whispering that 2 living fossils were killed by a young monk. This not only caused heavy losses to Xiantian Holy Land, but also brought shame to their holy land. Many of the Xiantian Holy Land monks who were waiting here beat their chests and almost broke their teeth. Where are my elders from Luo Pavilion? Why didn't they come out? At the exit of the secret realm, some monks from Luo Pavilion who were waiting here also asked. No matter whether it is Li Tian, Lord Li Huo or King Li Yang, they are all able to get out of the secret realm, which makes them very puzzled. Even if there are many dangers in the secret realm, it is impossible to enter. There are so many monks and only a few people from Liluan come out. It's a long story. I'm about to report it to the Holy Lord, so don't say any more. Here, the young master Liluan of the Luo Pavilion Holy Land has the highest prestige. She directly stopped the other monks from asking. After all, only she and a few direct relatives knew what happened on the second floor, and she had already issued a gag order on these people. After all, she knew that Qin Feng must not be offended. He was extremely talented and had the power to crush a king. If she offended him, it would cause great trouble for them in Luo Pavilion. The same thing is happening in other Holy Land disciples, and some of their elders and kings have not been able to break out of the secret realm. After all, there were dozens of kings besieging the Shenmue Demon King at that time. After more than 20 people were crushed by the Shenmue Demon King, the 9 powerful kings were even destroyed by Qin Feng. This resulted in the death of many monks in the Holy Land. This scene was too cruel for them. The Dachshund King is the living fossil and foundation of the Holy Land. The death of one of them is enough to deal a blow to their strength and severely damage the vitality of the Holy Land. Finally, many powerful people knew the clues. They learned from the mouths of countless monks that some great kings were killed by the Shenmue Demon King. There were also some great kings who were massacred by a young monk, killing all of them. When the news spread, countless monks were all dumbfounded. It was really horrifying to see a monk who was in the 6th level of the realm of princes behead and kill the great king. A group of people were filled with indignation and shouted to avenge the elder monks in their clan. However, many monks had no idea at all. After all, one person can crush the existence of the Dachshund King. Even if they go together, they are far from their opponents. At this time, people saw the living fossil of Xiantian Holy Land, stopped the young monk who committed the murder in the secret realm, and immediately gathered around to watch. Although they did not dare to take action, they pinned their hopes on Hu Bie, the king of the great city. After all, Hu Bie, as a living fossil in the Holy Land, has unfathomable strength. He took the lead in intimidating the young monk and could also indirectly avenge their elder. Is something wrong? Qin Feng and others were about to leave when they were suddenly stopped by the monk, which made him frown and asked. Qin Feng just stood there quietly, behind him, followed by the Dachshund King Shang Qian, the King Longma, and the King White Elephant. Just the momentum flowing from the 3 of them can overwhelm the world. A monk in such a scene would naturally not be able to feel it. However, as a Dachshund King, Hu Bie could really feel it, which made him feel something bad, and he knew something was wrong. Did you kill the 9 kings in the secret realm? Hu Bie knew that if he retreated like this in full view of the public, then he would no longer hang out in Nanling, so he could only suppress his uneasiness and shouted. Huh? That's right. Qin Feng didn't understand what the other party meant, but he still nodded and agreed. The 9 great gods and kings attacked him, so she killed them all. It was entirely their own fault. At this time, Qin Feng suddenly discovered that Hu Ba's clothes were the same as those of the 2 kings he killed in the end, which made him feel moved. Why, among the 9 kings, are there people from your holy land? The corners of Qin Feng's mouth curved, and the killer god was going to kill everyone. If he could unite with some Holy Land monks, it would be enough to greatly increase his chances of winning. As for whether the other party will regret it afterwards, in Qin Feng's view, in the face of absolute strength, even enemies can become helpers. Among the 9 kings you killed, there were 2 kings from our Xiantian Holy Land. How are you going to explain this matter? Hu Bie of Xiantian Holy Land knew that he must not retreat at this time, otherwise, he would be looked down upon by the monks around him. By then, his reputation will inevitably be damaged in Nanling, so much so that their holy land will be unable to hold its head high in front of many monks and great religions. Xiantian Holy Land, okay, I got it. Go back and tell the Holy Lord of your Holy Land that the two kings of your Holy Land attacked me and were killed by me. 1 month later, I will go to Xiantian Holy Land and ask for justice from your Holy Land. Qin Feng's words rang out here, spreading like thunder, and countless cultivators present heard them all. As Qin Feng's voice fell, he waved his hand, and the holy beast white elephant instantly turned into a giant of several hundred feet, and a terrifying king's pressure flowed around it. In an instant, the pressure spread and made many cultivators present surrender, and a vacuum zone appeared here instantly. As Qin Feng waved his hand, Shang Qian, Yeching Cheng and others all flew onto the back of the white elephant, and then the white elephant took off and disappeared at the end of the world. When the figures of the white elephant, Qin Feng and others left, Hu Bie raised his sleeves and wiped the cold sweat from his forehead. Just now, he knew that he had walked through the gates of hell. His cultivation was also at the level of a king, but it was much worse than that of his two senior brothers. The two senior brothers were killed by Qin Feng, and he himself was no match for them. Especially beside the opponent, there were 3 great king followers. If he had attacked just now, his fate would have been death. At this time, many cultivators also climbed up, and they were all stunned. Originally, they should have asked Qin Feng for the crime, but why did Qin Feng ask for justice from their holy land in the end? Invincible Scratch Lottery System. Author, Xiankong Fashi. Chapter 832. Although Li Luan had already recognized Qin Feng's identity in her heart, she was still surprised when she got the information she wanted from Qin Feng. As for the fact that she did not have a bad relationship with Qin Feng, but instead won over Qin Feng, she felt very lucky. Qin Feng's reputation in Yanbei had already reached her ears. If such a proud man were to turn against him, he would probably die. As for the followers who came with her, they were full of confusion and did not understand why their master was so interested in such a young man. After all, at the junction of Dongyu and Nanling, the surname Qin was a common surname and the population was also large. Their young master actually stood still on the spot after hearing the surname Qin. This behavior made them very puzzled. Outside the secret realm, countless creatures gathered here, a sea of people, and their cultivation levels were all very powerful. In the secret realm, the news that the 9 kings were killed has not yet spread outside. Countless monks from the Holy Land sect are waiting for their king to return victoriously. Why haven't our elders from Xiantian Holy Land come out yet? Some of the monks and elders guarding this place in Xiantian Holy Land all frowned and were very anxious. The 2 invincible kings of Dachan entered the secret realm just to obtain the fairy chalcedony. However, such a long time has passed and the 2 kings have not yet appeared, which made the monks who followed them very anxious. After all, Li Xiao and Zhang Mang are 2 living fossils, and they are the foundation of their Xiantian Holy Land. If the other party has good intentions in the secret realm, it can shake the foundation of their Xiantian Holy Land and cause their Xiantian Holy Land to suffer heavy losses. The elder is not well. At this time, the secret realm flickered, and the monk who owned the Xiantian Holy Land rushed out. He rolled and crawled to the gathering place. It wasn't that he didn't want to come to report the news in advance, but that when the white elephant, the holy beast, guarded the door, it lent him great courage and he didn't dare to leave. It was only at this time that Bai Xiang and Qin Feng left the secret realm, and he dared to leave the secret realm and rushed here in a hurry. Why are you panicking? What happened? The elders of Xiantian Holy Land showed displeasure. They finally saw a monk from their holy land leaving the secret realm alive, but the other monk was so panicked that their hearts sank. Elder, something serious has happened. The monk from Xiantian Holy Land immediately burst into tears, and his performance immediately made everyone in Xiantian Holy Land panic. Not being able to see their living fossil break out of the secret realm made them feel uneasy. At this moment, after seeing the monk's performance, their hearts sank to the bottom. A very bad idea appeared in their minds. The great king of their holy land might have fallen. Why are you panic? Speak slowly. At this time, Hu Ba, the elder of Xiantian Holy Land, scolded dissatisfiedly. As his words fell, an invisible energy overflowed from his body, calming the emotions of the Holy Land monk. As another living fossil of Xiantian Holy Land, he happens to be sitting here. Similarly, Hu Ba also had doubts in his heart. His two senior brothers were both living fossils. Neither of them appeared. Did they all die in the secret realm? Elder, the two kings of our holy land are both dead. The monk from Xiantian Holy Land said with tears and snot in his nose that because they did not act together with the two kings, they had a chance to escape. What? Is the Shenmue Demon King so scary? The monks of Xiantian Holy Land were all shocked when they heard this. Those two invincible living fossils, the foundation of their holy land, had fallen like this. No, he was killed by a human monk. The monk in Xiantian Holy Land said tremblingly, thinking of Qin Feng killing the Dacheng king made his soul tremble. At this time, he discovered a pair of familiar figures among the crowd. When he took a closer look, he found that the other party was walking towards their position. This person is none other than the young man who killed the elders of their holy land in the secret realm. It's him who killed the elder. At this moment, the monk in Xiantian Holy Land turned pale with fear. He opened his eyes wide and watched Qin Feng and the others walking in this direction. This made him feel as if he was facing the god of death, and he was filled with fear. What? It's him. A group of monks from Xiantian Holy Land were shocked. Their eyes were fixed, and when they discovered that there was a very young monk in Qin Fengsi, they were all so angry that they roared. There was even a monk who was so angry that he was speechless. That monk was too young, and only in the domain of princes. He didn't look like he had the strength to kill the great king. But their monk said that the other party had killed the Dacheng king, which almost made them laugh out loud. What are you talking about? Hu Ba, the living fossil elder of Xiantian Holy Land, frowned. According to his feeling, the young man's cultivation was only at the 6th level of the princes. This realm can kill the great king, but he doesn't believe it anyway. Elder, I didn't lie. It was really this person who killed him. Many monks in the secret realm saw it. The monk in Xiantian Holy Land was terrified. Under the pressure of the Dacheng king, how could he dare to tell lies? After getting the other party's definite answer, Hu Ba, the elder of Xiantian Holy Land, was still reluctant to believe it. He directly used his great magical power to search the sea of consciousness of this cultivator and really found some fragments from it. However, this is not enough to prove that Qin Feng killed the living fossil of their holy land. At this time, Li Luan, the young master of Luo Pavilion, led everyone out of the secret realm. My dear niece, have you seen this man kill the two kings of my holy land? Luo Pavilion, as one of the holy lands to maintain order this time, the two holy lands naturally have some friendship. When Hu Ba, the great king of Xiantian Holy Land, saw the cultivator of Luo Pavilion, he immediately asked. What? Two seniors were killed. Li Luan, the young master of Luo Pavilion Holy Land, was shocked when she heard this. She knew that there was a great king who had turned the first level of the secret realm upside down. In the end, she knew that 9 great kings had fallen, but she didn't know that the 2 kings of Xiantian Holy Land were also among the fallen kings. Hu Ba saw that Li Luan's expression was not fake, but he didn't know that he asked the person who knew the truth the least. After all, the turmoil caused by the demon king of the 2nd floor of the Divine Wood had just subsided, and she led people to quickly escape from the 2nd floor of the secret realm. When she came to the 1st floor, everything had been decided, so she didn't see the scene of Qin Feng killing the 9 kings. Moreover, due to the death of King Li Yang of the Luo Pavilion Holy Land, she was trying to spread the news to the Holy Land. So she rushed out of the secret realm without stopping, and didn't carefully find out the details of the king's fall in the secret realm.